What up, gamers? Thanks for coming back to my channel. And as of this video right now, Rockstar's trailer has hit 114 million views. That is an astonishing number. Now, of course, that means that just about everyone has seen the trailer, and it's not that long. I think it's like a minute 30 seconds. And just like everyone else who has kind of broken down the trailer and what they see, I kind of want to do a similar thing, but I want to break it down from somebody who actually used to live in South Florida for most of his life. I lived in the West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale area, but I traveled when I was younger to South Beach, to Miami, constantly, because there's so much to do there when I was younger. Not that there isn't anything wrong with doing that as you get older, but the luster kind of rubs off. But when you're young, you want to be in this kind of atmosphere where there's beaches and parties and people your age doing the same thing and just acting, quite frankly, stupid for most of the time. I'll talk about it in screenshots. And then when I finish doing that, I'll give you my 3 reasons, and these are only my opinion, as to why Rockstar decided to make Miami, or the city of Miami, and in and around the city of Miami, their go-to world for GTA 6. So let's get started. Now, of course, the first thing that we noticed about the trailer was the Grand Theft Auto design, the colors. That I think they're very appropriate for South Beach, the city of Miami, whatever. And GTA, Rockstar, in other words, has captured the essence of the city in these colors, and I think it's reminiscent too of like those older shows like Miami Vice and things like that. But I like it a lot, and I think I'm gonna try to implement those colors in other things and other videos that I do. But yeah, super cool. Kind of bummed out though that it says coming 2025. I really thought it was 2024, maybe sometime in mid 24, or maybe by the end of 2024, like the holidays. Here we are, 2025. What do you guys think? Were you expecting 2024, or does it seem reasonable for 2025? Now, of course, they were working on Red Dead Redemption 2, and they gave us a lot of DLC or just a lot of things that they added. I got to give them. We have to grant them the time that they took on that game as well. So that makes sense, I guess, that 2025 would be more appeasing. But hey, we all can't have what we want. Now, speaking about the city of Miami, as someone who frequented the city and had a lot of time to ride around the many areas and places, this is very close to depict the realism of the city. You can obviously tell that it is like any other city in the sense that of the lights and how the sunset, goes down by the end of the day. But to be honest with you, like the palm trees and just the vegetation, just the amount of spacing between things and houses and other buildings, it's spot on. And you're gonna see these buildings, like these hotels type of things, you're gonna see these throughout the city no matter where you go. Truly almost photorealistic. Now, this is South Beach, Miami. Now, if you've never been there, this is pretty close to photorealism. First thing you'll notice is just the colors. The colors are exactly like the real thing. When you're walking around, there's restaurants, there's hotels, there's a bunch of people walking around, especially at nighttime. So truly indicative of that area. Next thing you'll see is just the really expensive cars, and if you own one of these, hoorah, you're in the right place to show it off in the strip of, South Beach, Miami. Fun place to be. There's a lot going on, a lot to take in while you're walking. So yeah, It's definitely hot and sweaty. That's another thing. Before I go on, the trailer just, it captures the humidity to a T. So if you've never been to Florida or South Florida, watch this trailer and you'll immediately start to sweat. Yes, the clubs. I mean, when you're young and you want to check out everything that Miami has to offer, clubs are definitely one of the key aspects of going there. And what draws my attention is obviously the lights and the people, but Miami is really indicative of like the female DJs. And I saw this every time I went on the weekends to hang out with friends or just get by to eat. So many female aspiring DJs just hanging out either at a hotel, either at a restaurant, just playing their music, or at nighttime, you know, deep in the night in the clubs. That is something that stands out. So I'm happy to see that Rockstar have an eye for this and include it in their game. I'm pretty sure that if Rockstar had made a game that was based out of Miami, that there's no doubt there's going to be drugs, and there's no doubt that you're going to have to import it and export it in some way. And Rockstar obviously knew this, and so that's why you see this two-man plane, or you see the ships below, or you see the yachts. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to craft your ability to hide these drugs and bring them in some way. I don't know. This, if Rockstar didn't include a mission or side missions that include this, then it can't really be Miami. Historically, Miami has been at the forefront of drugs and crime. I know what Rockstar is going to do with this landscape. And yes, once again, this is very indicative of what South Florida looks like when you are on the roads. You're just going to encounter a lot of piers, a lot of highways that, you know, go across the sea, and it's beautiful, but I know what they're doing with this. So yeah, very on point. And you can't have Miami without beautiful women, right? Beautiful women from all over the world come to Miami to enjoy the sun, the pools, the hotels, and the live entertainment. Rockstar knew this, and I think this is our protagonist here. And yeah, it's gonna be a part of Rockstar's game that they've created. Super solid depiction of that, definitely shown in this picture. Now take it from me, somebody who lived in Florida all their life, or South Florida, alligators are a thing. They're everywhere. Sometimes they're just basking in the sun. Sometimes they get in your toilets. Sometimes they eat your dog. It's just, it is what it is. And sometimes they even get in their pool and they confuse it for, you know, their own lake. And here we have pest control people doing what they do best. I'm glad to see that craziness is here. I'm assuming we're probably gonna encounter this a lot. Another thing that you want to take a look at is the vegetation. Very indicative of South Florida. It's spot on. And one other thing that is really spot on is you see the sky. The sky is almost like this, I'd say about 75% of the time. Because it's so humid, it creates a lot of clouds, creates a lot of rain. So I do expect Rockstar to capitalize on that. Hopefully there's a lot of rain because that is just part of the Florida or the South Florida atmosphere. And talking about the crazy things that you'll see in Florida and also you'll see in GTA6 more than likely is, yes, things like this. Alligators walking in broad daylight to stores. Now, I don't hear too many stories about this happening in real life, but I think it has. You know, I think it does happen. Not as frequently as you probably think, because honestly, alligators don't care about you. Like, they don't. So that was my cat. She's talking to me. She's like, "Don't talk about alligators." Yes, Moo. You okay? Alrighty then. First time she gets vocal, so I gave her treats. Maybe that's why. But yes, they really don't care about us. They would rather stay clear away from humans if possible. They don't care to attack you. They don't care to eat you. Contrary to popular belief, Are there occasions that it happens? Sure. There is gators that come in and out. You'll hear it in the news. They walked into a store, or they were at someone's front steps. I mean, that type of stuff does happen, but not as frequently as you think. I'm also glad to see that Rockstar has implemented Florida life to the fullest. And yes, you will see this once or twice. At least when I was around, I think I saw it a couple times where Grandpa, who is still built and still goes to the gym, just decides that he wants to strut his stuff for everyone to see. And he's on his property, so why the hell can't he do it in his thong? So yeah, this is Rockstar at its best, making sure that you get to see this more often than you probably would in real life. It's a welcome image. So here's Rockstar at their best again, with people showing out, showing clout, who knows, making rap videos or making hip-hop videos. We just don't really know, but or if this is just a stunt challenge of some sort. But yes, this is what the weather does to people. It just makes them do really crazy things. And speaking about crazy, yes, the people sometimes run crazy. Maybe grandma didn't take her meds and she comes out with hammers thinking they're loaves of bread or something. And here you have it, folks, with the moo, indicative of what Rockstar can do with this game, building it around Miami. It was the perfect setting, to be honest with you. It just kind of fell on their laps, I'm pretty sure, this type of thing. Believe it or not, I didn't find this out too much later in my teens, my later teens, that you can actually do these type of things in Florida. Like, there is mud racing and there's all sorts of things that people do with mud. I had a crazy friend who invited me out there in Loxahatchee and places that are covered in a lot of bush tree. I called him Bush People, and he didn't care. He was proud of it. And yeah, he loved it. And I loved it too. If you don't care about a little mud in between your butt crack, get ready to have some fun. Rockstar knows what they're doing. They know why Florida is the place for them. I'm happy to see that they're showcasing this, because there's going to be a lot of fun from these depictions. So shout out to Rockstar. You're doing it right. And of course, speaking of major cities, can't forget about your accidents. Florida is probably neck to neck with other major cities in terms of crime. I'm thinking Chicago, I'm thinking Texas, I'm thinking maybe like Dallas or California, LA per se. Yeah, they're right up there. Even though Miami is not a huge city in terms of, let's say, area covered, they certainly are heavily populated, and these type of things are not only a nuisance but a daily occurrence. Shout out to Rockstar. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. It's a bittersweet on my end, knowing that I grew up there, and you know, the type of things that you saw all the time. Sorry about that. You can't forget about our lovely criminals. They're always up to no good. Just the hot weather. Hot weather just does something to people and just makes them act out in just completely different manners. And it's not, it isn't always for the best. Shout out to Rockstar. They really, when I saw this, I was just like, oh my God. Yes, this is like, I mean, it's just almost photorealistic. It's almost sad, but I know we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And just by looking at this picture, I know we're going to be able to go in real deep on this one. And this is the Everglades. The Everglades is like Florida's backcountry. You've got anacondas, alligators, you've got dangerous snakes. I mean, you get the picture. And you've also got your lovely airboats. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing a lot in this area. And you best believe that it's hot, sweaty, and swampy. Oh, and let's not forget, infested with mosquitoes. So if you live near a lake, you are not loving Florida. So last but not least, the beaches here depicted by Rockstar are super photorealistic here. This is what to expect. I mean, a lot of people on the beach, especially between the months of, like, let's say March through, I think, maybe September, before it starts getting a little bit cooler, but not too much. And the reason I say that is because, you know, the waters get a little cooler as well. And I'm telling you, if a Floridian notices even a couple drops in degrees, they're putting their jackets on. If you know, you know. But basically, this is what to expect when looking at the beaches of Miami. So yeah, really spot on. Rockstar has really done their homework here. I'm happy to report. Now we're almost towards the end of the video, where I talk about just 3 key points as to why I think Rockstar wanted to build Miami, or the city of Miami, as their new world. The reason that I think they did it, let's go ahead and move into that. So first reason for me is Florida is surrounded by water. When it comes to water, I think it'd be easier for them to render when they're looking at building Miami as their city. I certainly think that it might be easier than a bigger city that didn't have water. I think water is not as costly as making huge buildings. And honestly, Miami as a city, it does have its buildings and plenty of them, but not as many as you would see in a place like Atlanta, Ohio, Philadelphia, Chicago. Now keep in mind, these are just my opinions. I am not saying that this is factual. I'm not a developer. I am just giving you my observations. And with water comes pretty beaches. I think it just made sense for Rockstar to build here because I think it might have been a little easier for them. I also, my other point is the craziness. I mean, there's just a huge amount of craziness going on in South Florida, for good or for bad, or however you want to see it. But it was like a no-brainer for Rockstar. Of course, every city has their craziness. I'm not saying they don't, but for some reason, the hot, tropical, humid weather just makes people a little bit crazier in Florida. And people come from all over the world to live in Florida, and from all over the United States. So for me, the craziness was another reason why Rockstar really could get away with creativity and craft their world to the max when it comes to drugs, crime, things to do, things to see. I mean, to me, it just makes sense. Now listen, this is just my opinion from somebody who lived there. So we spoke about the water, we spoke about the craziness. Those are 2 aspects. My last one has to do with area. I know we kind of touched on this, but I'll make it brief. I think Florida is not huge. As far as like Miami goes, I don't think it's a big city. Like it's not even in the top 10 largest cities in the United States as far as area goes. So I think that benefited Rockstar when developing this world that they wanted to do. Miami is a heavily populated city, yes, because a lot of people come to live there, but it's not a wide area city and large in that respect. So I think that's another reason why Rockstar decided, hey, it just makes sense for us to go here, let's create this, and let's have a lot of fun with it. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the GTA trailer breakdown from somebody who used to live in the area and who used to frequent the city of Miami and key aspects. And if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. And I appreciate all of my followers, and I'll see you guys on the next one.